and welcome back for another episode of Three Dads and a Console. Not every dad has the ability to stay up to date on the latest and greatest in video game news that you need to know about, so we're here to do it for you. I'm Waba Plays, and as always, we are joined by Court Lalonde. Hello, Court.
Hey, how's it going?
I love the hat.
Thank you. Honestly, I went to go pick up something at the Vaughan Mills Mall here in Canada, and I got stuck there for 45 minutes waiting for something that my wife had purchased. So I just walked around the mall, and then I walked by the local lids, and I saw this hat, and I'm like, I got it's like my fifth Jays hat that I bought this year because they're batting cage one, and I've got the one that he's got on with the baby blue because that's the mint. But this is not a fitted. I hate fitted hats. Like, I hate them. My head is weirdly shaped. That is my favorite because of the colors. It is great, but I truly this has the old school Jays logo, and with the gray, it automatically made me think of John Allrood and Joe Carter and that World Series. But I digress.
Must be nice to have a good baseball team. Speaking of other Bostonian people, Pez, hello.
Speaking of bad baseball teams, good day, everyone. I am wearing a Pirates hat.
Are they good? Remember when they used to be the dumps?
They are not good. They are very bad.
I didn't realize McCutcheon was on on another team until today when I was playing MLB The Show, and all of a sudden McCutcheon's up the bat. I'm like, oh, I thought he retired.
What's he on, Detroit, maybe?
No, he's on Arizona.
Oh, I don't know. I honestly thought he'd retire.
No, I don't know. Our guest will probably know.
Our guest?
He's on the Brewers. He's on the Brewers.
The Brewers.
Yeah.
Brewer hardly newer, and we are having returned guest, Snaggle J. Hello and welcome back.
Listen, I appreciate your enthusiasm. I appreciate you guys inviting me back. Listen, it was, my agent called me the other day and said, listen, the Three Dads and the Console guys want you to come back. And I was like, absolutely not. And then they said, listen, they're offering you social media clout. And I was like, let's do it. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you guys for having me. What day is it? Wednesday? Happy Wednesday.
The rider was out of control. The rider was like, no AL East hats other than the Jays, only blue M&Ms. It was out of control.
Here's the thing. I will say it is not the greatest of time to be a Boston sports fan. But here's the thing. You know what? Listen, my Twitter history, obviously you got the Celtics out there rolling, but here's the thing. The tweets are out there. I said, listen, I expect the Red Sox to rebound. They're too good not to. They're sorting their pitching staff out. They're getting things figured out there. Their hitters are starting to warm up. They just need a 6-game home and home set against the Orioles, and then they're right back in the wild card hunt.
Well, look at the Jays. Their slump buster was the Mariners, right? It's just
yeah, exactly. So
mind you, Vladdy's on a 14-game hitting streak, and for some reason,
where he has one home run.
MLB The Show's what we should do? We should downgrade him. He's on a 14-game hitting streak, but let's downgrade that card.
Wait, you can downgrade them?
I just want them to downgrade any card based on how they're playing in real life.
I just want them to fix his speed. The fact that they have not yet
Waba just like
something.
Speed. Waba, can you do me a favor? As someone that knows the people over at EA, because I love hockey more than anything, can you just play MLB The Show for a week? That's it. I'm all asking. Just 1 week. Check out Diamond Dynasty, and then write down all the awesome things that we have talked about, and then send it to EA and be like, do this.
Honestly, I will likely play the game at some point for research and feedback.
Yeah. Honestly, we talked about this, the upgrade system and allowing you to get any card. And then Pez and I talked about this. No one has the same roster when you're playing people. Some people have an event roster, but you can have there's other cards. When we look at things, when we're going through the program, Pez took different cards than me, and it made sense for his roster and how he wants to run his team. If he wants to run a speedy team that gets stolen bases, he's going to take in the program Pierre. But if he doesn't, he can go after the Glavin if he's looking for pitching. Because there's a lot of ups and downs. But that leads into one of the topics of the show.
Yep, and I think we can play these. Go on it now.
Well, I want to talk about the gaming, the grinds. Okay. So MLB The Show is a lot about the grind, and we'll get into MLB The Show. But when you play grindy games, a thing clicks in. Now, I am really enjoying my time with it, and I know Pez has, but he sent me a message on the weekend. And he was like, dude, I'm in a slump. And that happens when you play a game over and over again, and you get gaming fatigue, and it's a real thing. So I'm going to let Pez describe what is happening with him right now. He needs a slump buster, but maybe the new program will fix it. But what's going on, Pez?
You know, I think for me, we were kind of talking about this pre-show. Is I am a big fan of grindy games. I am a Monster Hunter guy. I play sports games, which seemingly now is just a grind that never ends. I don't mind them. I like them. I enjoy them. I enjoy being like, hey guys, let's get on. We're gonna hunt in Monster Hunter for 4 hours. We're gonna hunt the same monster over and over until we get what we need to build our stuff. But there's a time, and it hit me this weekend with the show where I turn it on and I look at it and I'm just like, I'm not gonna do this right now, and I just turn it off. And I picked it back up. Like, I didn't log in. I just let it go. Didn't play the market. I was just like, I'm kind of like done. I kind of need to reset for a couple days because it was like, okay, get up in the morning. I get up early. I get up before everyone else. So I get up. I'll have breakfast. Before I shower, like maybe we'll do like a show moment or something, get that XP in. But then I was like, I got where I wanted on my program. I wanted all 3 of my big dog packs. I got them. Didn't get what I wanted. So I was kind of just like, bummed about that. But then it was like, okay, I can grind for packs, but I don't think I care enough about packs to grind for packs. So I hit that point where I was just like, I don't want to do this right now. And it took like 3 or 4 days of me not playing to just be like, all right, maybe now I can jump back in. But I find myself, and I can obviously only can talk about myself, there are a lot of cycles where it's not just grindy games, but it's games in general where, and Snaggle J mentioned this, and I'll let him expand upon it, but nothing's coming out.
No.
Like, there's nothing, right? And it's like, okay, do I want to play Hunt Showdown again for the 100th time? Do I want to play the show again and do the same, like, play versus CPU, or play that same dude that just throws balls in the dirt? And, do I want to fight the same monster in Monster Hunter for the 200th time? No, I don't want to actually do any of these. I want a new experience, but there's nothing out there grabbing me.
So I'll be completely honest. I had the exact same thing happen to me with MLB The Show a year ago about this time. I went hard, hot, and heavy. I mean, again, different times, right? We were still very much in the middle of the pandemic. This time last year. But like, I went into MLB The Show 21 very aggressive, grinding everything, completing all the team affinities, all the feature programs, everything, completing everything. And I burned myself out on it by about, the Victoria Day for us wonderful Canadian people.
What is that?
It's the third Monday in May. It's the May. They usually call it the May 2-4 weekend up here. It's
basically like Memorial Day.
It's like
we have Monday off.
It's the non-official version of that.
It's like the unofficial kickoff of summer
we call it Free Healthcare Day, the thing you don't have.
Yeah.
So
McDonald's on every corner day.
So one thing that
doesn't make any sense. That's like Kill People Day.
So one thing I really wanted to do coming into 22 was I immediately said to myself, I'm not going to grind everything. And I immediately set for myself, I'm going to run a Blue Jays Expos theme squad as my main unit in MLB The Show. And I've stuck to that since the game came out up until now. My main squad only has current and former Jays and Expos. That's it. And everything, like a lot of the other cards, I'll be honest, like, for example, I took Britton and Eddie Matthews in this feature program. I sold them both because I have no intention of using either of them. And I'm grinding them to, because again, that helped me.
You have the Delgado.
I do.
Oh.
And again, largely because of the decisions that I made, right? I played the feature program. I sold the rewards because they don't fit my theme. But then when Delgado came out, I had 191,000 stubs ready to go because I am grinding the collections because Frank Thomas qualifies as a Blue Jay. Randy Johnson, the 99 Randy Johnson for the collections, qualifies as an Expo. So I would like to have those. I would like to have those cards at some point, right? But I had to invest that collection money in Delgado because Delgado is one of my all-time favorite Blue Jays.
Yeah, he's got like 100 and...
Alongside somebody I'm going to be able to use hopefully in about 48 hours time.
Buddy.
So I think so on the I know. Well, we'll go down that in a bit, but on the I do think the problem with MLB The Show, and we talked about this a little bit before, right? It is probably, in terms of sports card collecting games, the most friendly to no money spent players.
Yes.
It like you can't compare like Madden, NBA. NBA is probably the biggest offender of all for. I actually went from playing Hut right into MLB The Show. I actually think Hut has made some really good strides with providing more things for grind people, like especially with things like Hut Rush and some of the more arcadey modes. I love that stuff. I played Hut Rush like every day for like a month straight.
But some of the like the 30-second period thing crap and like
I know, like, but here's the thing, right? But here's the thing, right? You could say the same thing about 3-inning games in the show. It's not realistic, but it's 3 innings. I know, apples and oranges. But again, I think the point is MLB The Show is the most friendly game to the no money spent grind. But the problem is that, like every card collecting game that exists, sports and non-sports, there's two currencies: money and time.
Yep.
And again, the monthly awards program for April is a great example. This is not something you're sitting down and completing in one evening.
Nope.
It took me a solid week of playing a couple hours a day to get to the point where I was like, okay, because I needed the Andre Dawson, obviously fits the theme. At that point, I wanted the Rizzo because that gave me XP in the feature program. But again, with MLB The Show, you can get really tired of that grind in a hurry. And then that's the other point is like for me, when I find I'm getting too invested in a game, like April, May, there's usually a big release or two that occur, right? We're getting into like the summertime and there's been nothing. Like even if you wanted to go play something else, what are you going to go play? Like for most of us right now, there's nothing that grabs our attention. Like for those of you who follow me on Twitter, I literally beat Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo for the first time in my life the other day. Because I watched a YouTube video and it got me excited about it. And I'm like, man, like it's grasping at straws. Because again, I have a finite amount of time to play video games. So I'm like, I have a couple hours here and there. I usually get a few games in on my lunch, and then on the weekends is buck wild. But like, yeah, you need those things to mix in there. And I just think right now you're looking at the schedule of games coming out, and there's just nothing to get people.
There's nothing till September.
There's like nothing,
literally nothing till September.
Yeah, like you know what, like, and the little bit of stuff that we are getting, like for example, I played and unlocked all of the new the Mario Kart 8 DLC, right? The tracks they've started putting out. My kids play that. We played the crap out of it, and we beat those, and then it was done. We picked up Switch Sports. We played that. It lost its luster, within the first week because we were playing it an hour or two every day. The kids still play it a little bit, but for me, it's like you play it for a few hours and it's like, okay, I've been there, I've done that, I've moved on. I mean, you look at what's coming out like on the non-Switch consoles. There's nothing. There's literally nothing to play that's new and exciting. There's some niche genre stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
so you have.
But
think about it. You really have. You have Saints Row, which is September. You have Hogwarts, which is September, and you have they haven't officially announced it, but they're not going to release it at the same time as their other game that's releasing in October. So Hogwarts is September or it's November. Pick which one. But then you have Gotham Knights, which is in October. Those are literally. Tell me something else that's coming out that you have a release date of that you want to play.
So
NHL, yes.
No. I don't know yet, but likely Midnight Suns is going to be coming out this year.
Okay, but there's no release date. I'm saying,
right.
What release date for that? I would say God of War then.
The Mario Strikers game?
Nope.
Yes. No.
No?
I don't think so.
Then yeah, there's nothing.
There's a Pokemon game.
I think Pokemon, the new generation of Pokemon games is November, I think, which is traditional Pokemon time, right? It'll be out the second or third week of November, same as they did with the Diamond Pearl.
So it goes to you can get gaming fatigue. Like I will say this. I haven't played it that much. Like I finished the program on the weekend. I still talk to Pez about it daily, But
Yeah.
today I only played on my lunch. Yesterday I only played on my lunch.
I've been
What I've
taking.
been doing is going in and just grinding out packs.
Yeah.
I don't have the same oh, I want to play, but then today when they announced everything that was going to happen and I saw all the packs and I knew I was getting Roy Holiday and just all these things, Pez and I were just messaging back and forth. We're like, okay, this is the card I'm going to take. This is the card I'm going to take, because you know you're going to get it. And we might as well lead into our review of this game. Might as well, because we've
Before
gone
we
into
do that, can I offer a suggestion to the Pez?
Yes.
So I'm not speaking from a gaming standpoint. This is mainly a content standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So
you play one game.
Exactly. So it's tough because, again, NHL has dropped off. So as a streamer, there's other ways. Like, I think the focus now in the summer can be to like focus on the brand. You know, you can be creative in other ways and other content to like build up the Pez empire. It doesn't just have to be like gaming. It can be like maybe a video or maybe like another mode. One thing that I've been getting into, as Pez is the only follower because I've launched, is like I've been flipping stuff. And like, does that have anything to do with gaming? No, but it's a way to be creative. And also it's like part of just overall content. It's just another facet that it literally has nothing to do with gaming. So if there's another way that you can like funnel your creativity in something, doesn't necessarily have to be gaming, but just a way to build the Pez brand, that might be a way to get through that Lemaze.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
not.
the right one?
Well, it's not even so much like an on-stream thing, right? Because on stream, it's like I'll just play whatever I feel like. It's just, you know, it's one of those days. It's one of those things where you're just like kicking around the house and you got a little bit of time, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna play something, and then you bring up your Xbox or your PlayStation, you look at the dashboard, you're like, I don't want to play any of these. Like, I don't want to do any of these. You know, I have found actually my palate cleanser through this. Like, ooh, I don't know what I want to play is I've been playing Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Something that's easy that you can kind of turn your brain off and just enjoy.
Great game too. Great game. Really good game.
I've been enjoying it actually a lot, way more than I thought I would.
I think. Oh, go. I'll let you finish, but I wanted to say something about the release schedule when you're done.
Yeah, so it's like taking, I don't want to say taking my focus away from something super grindy, but it's a nice change of pace. But I am finding myself being like, I don't really want to play this. I don't want to play this. I don't want to play this. And eventually that'll go away and I'll be like, all right, we're going all in on something else. And I feel like that is just maybe the gaming cycle of us as consumers now. Like that's what your company wants you to do. Well, not your company, but that's what a company wants you to do. Consume their product as much as possible until you just either get sick of it or move on to the next one. Go ahead.
Well, say like for me, I took a look through the gaming release schedule here about a week ago, just kind of seeing what was coming up. And the only things I find like that particularly appeal to me is, you know, next week we got the Maverick DLC coming out for the Top Gun DLC for Flight Simulator. I know that's a very niche market to go down, but like I think what the problem has become is I look at the cycle, right? So for me, right, summertime usually means baseball, and then we transition into Madden, and then Madden, you know, a bit later we transition into NHL. So as a sports gamer, everything has become very cyclical, and if you get burnt out on, especially this time, because you have the fall so heavy with Madden and NBA and NHL. You have F1 coming out on Canada Day. Like, so the second half of the year, sports game wise, is very loaded. If you get burnt out on MLB now, you've got nothing to play all summer, like realistically. And for me, like in when I look at and I think from a non-sports standpoint, because sports has remained pretty much regular. I know we've seen delays of a few weeks here and there as we've gone on. But as we get to the tail end of the pandemic, this is kind of what analysts told us was going to happen. That the delays that continue to happen and the delays, and then some games get released and more delays, we were going to end up with a void. Because now we're waiting for, we still don't have a release date for God of War. We still don't have Horizon did come out. Starfield has been delayed. Like everything is, is subject to delay. Like, we don't know if Xenoblade 3 is going to come out in September like Nintendo, because that's kind of Nintendo's next big game, right? Court mentioned Pokemon in November, But yeah, it's just it's a struggle because like if you really want to pivot, and again, I understand the content part of it because, and I agree with Wob 100%. I mean, you could make anything interesting if you have the personality and your community supports it. But
Mhm.
even just from a hey, I'm trying to chill and like forget my 9 to 5 and play games. I struggle sometimes on what to pick up, and it's just from a standpoint of it's like I don't want to grind MLB every day. The last couple of weeks, as we've gotten towards the tail end of programs, like again, I haven't played MLB in a couple days. I'm gearing up for the big grind this weekend with the long weekend and holiday and the way they've structured their programs is kind of conducive to that, right? This program was a 3-week program. I front loaded a lot of my action. This next one's only going to be 2 weeks. I'm hoping to knock it out in 3 or 4 days. And then that way, if the latter half of the program I get burnt out, but yeah, I just think it's one of those things now where the gaming industry has to play catch up.
Mm.
Um,
Oh, the whole world
it's
has to play catch up.
oh
Like
yeah, yeah. I mean, it is.
I saw
It's
people complaining
beyond
about
games, right?
Starfield and everything being delayed, and I was just like, I said to Pez before, I was like, I'm just done hearing that. Like the person I said to the person, I was like, oh, it's COVID, and the person was like, well, I'm done using COVID as an excuse. As someone that
Yeah,
works in the manufacturing sector, it's a real excuse. It is never going away, and in
no,
fact, I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel till 2023, January, February, March,
I
as
can
of right now.
as the thing is that what people don't realize is COVID impacts more than people's ability to work from home. As someone who recently is coming out of working on a video game, we were remotely working before COVID ever happened, and it still had a major impact
Mhm.
because people get sick, people's family members get sick. So they're out for a period of time. Even though we were all set up to work from home and OOTP was developed and coded from all around the world, if one of us gets sick, that has the potential to disrupt the development of the game. And I think through 2020 and 2021 and early 2022, we've lived through a lot of that. And I just think at this point, it's. I don't think it's so much as an excuse as it's just reality.
Mhm.
And everything. If you lose 3 months in 2021, you can't get that 3 months back. Starfield can't get the time back that they lost because of circumstance XYZ. So
But what about
again,
the game that has to release now that thought Starfield was releasing in October? I mean November, and now the odds are that it's probably going to release in February, March. And they were like, "Well, our game's going to be out of the way. Everybody's going to be done with Starfield, and we're going to release in February, March." Like, guess what? Nope. We're going to drop our huge game at the same time. But you know what? It is
That's
what it
video
is
games.
because
That's video
could
games.
we could go into this till we're
Yeah.
blue in the face. You know what? Let's cover the PlayStation Plus was announced. Because we have talked a little bit about MLB The Show. We can give our quick synopsis because I think we can finally give a final review on this game because giving a review even in it was more of an impressions. But the PlayStation Plus games were announced and the value might actually be there. They also announced that Ubisoft Plus Classics will be coming to the PlayStation Plus program. So it's a lot like the EA Play stuff that you get with Game Pass Ultimate. There has now also been statements released that those same Ubisoft Classics will also be coming to Game Pass. I'm wondering if they're different games, but as of right now, we now know on day and date when this PlayStation Plus launches, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is there. They have
I'm
also
so
said
excited for that.
that those PlayStation 2 games are getting glow ups. Like Siphon Filter will get a glow up. I'm wondering what they're going to be. They said enhancements. I'm wondering if they're going to be the same as the enhancements you get on games that are on Game Pass, where you get the auto HDR, you get the 120 frames per second, the unlock frames, you get those games play a lot better. Let's be real here. Like a great example is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I remember I was taking screenshots sending to Pez, and we were both in shock. Like I was like, this is playing like a next gen game, and it's from 5 years ago. But the list, you have Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. You have a lot of good games on there. Oddly enough, the Spider-Man is only the PS4 version, which is weird.
Yeah, I
But
don't understand that at all.
yeah, that's a bit. But they've asked now maybe the Spider-Man comes with the Miles Morales because that is the PS5 version. But it doesn't look like you're getting Ultimate Editions in some of these games. But we are getting better versions, except we're also not getting the upgraded Last of Us. But a lot of people are saying that's because there will be that
Yeah.
Last of Us remake. that's coming, so they don't want you to get the PS5 version of The Last of Us. But we're getting a lot of these amazing first-party Sony games. They are coming to the service when a lot of us didn't think they will be. So what do you guys think of the list, and what tier are you going to get on? Because I'll say this right now, I automatically get the full version, but if I was going to get it, I wouldn't want the PS3 playing games through the cloud.
Yeah.
I don't care.
So I'm very excited for this. I was shooketh. I'm not for the premium, but let me say, like, seeing a Gravity Rush 1 and 2. I played 1 a little bit on Vita, and like, I'm very surprised that that's on here. Not because it's a bad game; it's actually very good. It's just, I feel like it's underappreciated, and I think a lot of people are going to be able to like play these great games that maybe they didn't before. Patapon, like, that's a PSP, and I know it was remastered, but like, people don't experience this stuff.
Mhm.
And the third-party games I think are really strong too. I mean, not to mention the Ubisoft Plus.
But they're all
I'll be-
pretty much the same ones that are on Game Pass. I want to point that out. Guardians of the Galaxy, like, and
Yeah.
that's not a bad thing. It's looking like these developers are like, hey, we'll just put them on the streaming services at a certain point.
I'll
That's good
definitely
for
be
gamers.
I'll definitely be getting the extra. I will say though, if you get the premium, when I was looking at this, like the original PS3 games, so not only, I mean, they don't have the regular Infamous and stuff like that, but like you get things like Puppeteer, which if you download it on
playing
PS
them-
Plus a while
You're
ago,
not downloading them though.
oh well, that's right, you get to stream them, whatever. But like that game, like you can't find some of these games. Like,
I
and
get
I'm
that.
talking to like it's I know it's very collectible. Like Asura's Wrath, like that's not like you can get these games downloaded, like you can't like find the disc. So it's like it's nice to see like some of these like weird niche titles, some of which I bought on a whim, and like they're great. So now other people can just experience that, like included in their subscription. If they like it, great, and if they don't, like, whatever. So it's gonna be really cool and hopefully help people like expand like some of their game taste, myself included. Maybe I'll actually try Division now, and I can talk about it with you guys. So.
Oh, dude. Oh, so good. So good. So, Pez, what did you, because I was actually, like I said before, I was shocked. I actually, I like it. Like, you got me. If I didn't already have PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, so automatically I get the super duper. I was pleasantly surprised. I honestly think they are offering value. I've seen some takes. People don't think there is value, but these are some tentpole games in there I'm seeing. I think there's value. What do you think, Pez?
I would agree, but just like looking at the list, it's games. Most of the first party games I've already played. So there's nothing that's gonna bring me back in that I'm gonna want to pay whatever premium prices for. So to me, I believe it holds value to the consumer, but it's not for me, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense.
I think the list of games they have is good. I think some of them are a little weird. Again, Marvel Spider-Man only being the PS4 version is a little
That
weird
is
to
very
me.
weird.
Um,
Supposedly people say that's because it was a digital only copy, but that doesn't make any sense considering this is a digital streaming service.
right. So I mean, I think it's cool. I'll probably just stay with my regular PS Plus for now until there's something that I'm like, oh yeah, I really want to play. Cause like looking at the list, like Demon Souls, no thanks. I already know that's not for me. Bloodborne, not for me. Days Gone, like if I want to play Days Gone, I can get it probably pretty cheap on PC at this point. There just isn't anything that's grabbing me personally. So I'll be just staying at my regular whatever $60 PS Plus little baby tier. And I do not want to stream PS3 games. I just don't. Yeah, I mean, if I want to play PS3 games, I'll play them on an emulator that runs on my PC. That's the upside for me is I have a pretty beefy computer that can run this stuff pretty well. But I think for someone that doesn't, it's good value for them, and I can see it being quite successful.
Well, from one thing I found with Game Pass, the Xbox 360 games that don't get the glow up don't hold up.
Oh,
They play old game old. It's not like when you
Yeah.
play an old Nintendo game and it's sprites and it still plays great just because of the art. But when you play, it's almost like it's the awkward, it's like the teenager years of the consoles. So for PlayStation 3 games and Xbox 360 games, if they don't do the glow up, and I've played a lot of backwards compact games, the game kind of doesn't play well at all, and it kind of looks like poop. And it's also because we've gone through it. Like, I understand looking at this list that, you know, a 20-year-old is going to be like, oh my God, like they haven't played half these games.
Yeah.
Right.
For us, we're the elder statesmen of the gamers, and for us, we're like, we played them all. But that's not to say there isn't value there. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at more of like, okay, I get that I haven't played it, but I played them all, but there's a lot of people out there, that core gaming audience that, you know, plays Fortnite and plays these games that I don't play, that will get a lot of value out of these.
Oh, for sure. So I'll give a different perspective on this, because, you know, I'm in the, you know, when the new consoles came out, I switched from PlayStation to Microsoft, and a large part of the reason why I did that was Game Pass. Game Pass was, for me, in the gaming sphere that I live in, an Xbox Series S, which is what I started with. I have an X now, and Game Pass was a more ideal gaming situation. So for me to want to go back and buy a PlayStation at this point, I would need to see some sort of comparable service. And there's two ways you can craft a Game Pass-like service and it be proper competition. You either give more value in terms of the price or more content in terms of what it offers. And on paper, I don't think it's there. But it's also not live yet. Like, when I see what they have currently, the new PlayStation Plus tiers is not something where I'm like, boom, I need a PS5 now, I gotta go get it. I mean, even Horizon wasn't enough for me to jump and go get a PS5, but at that time, PS5s were still pretty darn hard to find, and they're still not easy to find. I think for me, what the bigger thing is for people who are in my position, who are waiting for Sony to come up with a Game Pass comparable and really make them either want to switch to a PlayStation or pick up a PlayStation and play some of that back catalog that maybe they missed. They've set the groundwork of what we can expect from their subscription service. I think for me, the more important thing is, what does this thing look like in December? What does it look like in March? What does it look like a year from now? Do they continuously add new stuff? Are they, because again, Game Pass didn't start out as the hottest thing ever either. And then Microsoft started picking up game studio after game studio and integrating things. Then Bethesda came along and all these games end up on the platform, and you're playing super elite game of the year quality games like Forza Horizon, like day one, no charge. Like, and Game Pass just has this mystique about it now. I'm more interested what PlayStation Plus looks like a year from now. Is it going to be the subscription service that PlayStation needs? Because they do need this to work. I think they've taken so long to implement something because they really needed to get it right. I like what I see. It's not going to make me run out and spend $600 Canadian on a PlayStation 5 tomorrow. But I as a sensible human being who doesn't run around with my pitchfork in my hand all the time, I like what I see. I like the blueprint that they're laying. I think the selection is good. I think the Ubisoft Plus stuff is great. I really am excited to see where it goes. But like, let's have this conversation in December and see where the new PlayStation Plus tiers are and what new fun games have been added to it. Or is this something where it's going to end up like Switch Online and we're like literally just praying, please give us any Super Nintendo game that we like, right? I know those things are not, apples and oranges, but like, this can't just be a set it and forget it.
Can we just get Super Spike V-Ball already? Like, it's just almost to a point of like,
if they
you gotta be kidding me. Or California games on the original Nintendo. Like, give me the games I want. Come on, Nintendo. Listen.
I might have an actual cartridge of California games here somewhere.
That game was unbelievable.
I need
Skater Die.
Mario.
Oh my god, Skater Die. Oh my god.
Super Mario RPG
oh my god.
is what we need. Super Mario RPG, like the absolute worst.
Isn't that in the All-Stars?
No,
because
that's a Square Enix game as well.
Yeah, I know. We'll never get it.
Well, you can play it now that you finally beat Super Mario. Now you can play the.
I know I can move on
because you understand the lore.
Yoshi's Island is next, baby. Look out! Super Mario World 2, which is available on the Switch
Yeah,
Online. But yeah,
nobody spoiled 2 for him, okay?
that's right. Please don't. No, I've definitely never looked into it. But yeah, I just think again, this can't be set it and forget it for Sony. I really want to see them dive into this. I want to see like 3 months from now a big roadmap of hey, here's all this cool fun stuff that's coming to the top tiers because you're paying a little bit more for the top tier, right? So like, versus Game Pass. So I would expect some buzz and some excitement and so I really hope as we move on through 2022 that they really just dive into this thing and make it cool and really just give Sony users some really cool value and stuff to play.
That's actually a great point because it actually makes me think of the PS5 PS Plus collection because they announced it and you're like, oh, we're gonna get all these awesome games, but then they didn't do anything with it. Then it just sat there, right? They didn't add anything to it. They didn't update it. They didn't add like old PS Plus games or whatever. So that's actually a great point because if it's just a set it and forget it system, it's dead in the water.
I don't think it's going to be. Obviously,
I
they
don't
can
either.
add more of their stuff, but I feel like there's going to be more opportunity. Like I'm seeing a very good mix of different types of third-party developers. Like you have like your 2K, your Capcom, your Bandai Namco. Like it's not just like, oh man, like we're gonna go for like one thing. It's like no, they did a good mix.
I am very curious to see when a game like Horizon Forbidden West hits the system, hits it. So then we know the timeline, right? Because
Sure.
if Ghost of Tsushima is there, it came out what 7 months ago?
Yeah.
For PS5.
So is it a 6-month window?
I mean, here's the thing, right? If they come out at whatever their winter launch party is and they say, hey, God of War Ragnarok coming out February,
not
whatever. And that's what I mean. I think, again, until you get to that point, does it matter? If you're not
It
going
does.
to be
I think Sony doesn't need to do day and date. I truly believe this, just based on the pedigree of their first party games. Right now, Xbox needs to prove themselves. I was very curious when they showed the developers, the shareholders meeting, and they showed the marketing programs they have, and Call of Duty is not on the list of games that PlayStation is doing any marketing campaigns with for this year, for the remainder of this year, meaning if Call of Duty is coming day and date to Game Pass this year when the new one drops, because it's fiscal, so it is June until September, this deal can close. If Call of Duty drops day and date on Game Pass, this will start having Game Pass having some hits that are not just because right now they need some stuff, and it's obvious everything's coming in 2023.
And I think Bethesda doesn't get them there. I think a lot of people would say, "Oh, Court, they have Bethesda and Starfield comes out." But again, I still think people like Bethesda is not the end all be all, right? It's not Call of Duty like that. And I mean, I would say, listen, folks, if Court's right, format your hard drives now because you're going to need every bit of space you can get.
No, we wouldn't,
for the 700 gig Call of Duty.
We wouldn't have to get Warzone. It would be its separate thing finally, because that's one of my biggest gripes.
It'll have Warzone 2 Electric Boogaloo or whatever.
Regardless, what I'm trying to get to the point of is, I don't think Sony needs to. When you have a game like Last of Us stuff, it can come 6 months later, and that's just as fine. If I want to see what their time frame is, because we know Sony's not going to give day and date right now. They're not going to do it, and if they do, it's not going to be for like 2 years.
They don't need to. I think you've said that before.
But they will. Once.
Yeah.
If it's more of an if. If Starfield is awesome, if Fable is awesome, if say out of the 10 games, if Contraband is awesome, say if PlayStation, if Xbox can get out of their next 10 their release, 6 of them are just like, wow, like in Sony first party tiers. Like Ghost of Tsushima is the best new IP I've played in, I can't even remember, like since The Last of Us. Like it's just, I still can't believe how much I love that game. But Xbox doesn't have that yet.
No.
The one game I would say from last year that Xbox put out that I thought was unbelievable, and there's 2 I couldn't stop playing, was Psychonauts 2 and Forza. Yeah. But I didn't really like Halo. I didn't think it was that good. So they have a lot to they need more hits. They do to get in that Sony category. And in tune they have that. Sony doesn't have to do anything.
Farming Simulator 2 coming to Game Pass tomorrow, baby. Get your
cricket.
Get
No,
your
but that's totally like
get your
that's
tractors ready, baby.
I know, but what I'm trying to say is I don't think
No,
Sony. I think Sony doesn't have. There's no reason for them to do it yet.
no, and I agree. I think if you were ranking, you know, consoles in terms of the IPs they own, Sony probably edges out Nintendo by a hair, and then Xbox is a distant third. And you're right. I think again, I think a lot of their day one on Game Pass is because they're trying to raise the bar of these brands and trying to say, hey, this series could be really cool. This series could be really cool. We're gonna elevate. Like I firmly think that Starfield's gonna be an amazing and in Bethesda fashion really buggy game, much like Skyrim and
See, I don't think it is, and that's
Fallout has been
why
before.
I think because they've delayed it, it's not going to be.
I still think you're going to end up with the Bethesda bugs that happen in every game. But I just think again on that particular one, with Fallout 76 being the disaster that it was when it first came out, they really can't afford to screw it up. They can't afford a Cyberpunk 2077. But yeah, I even if it was
Hey, that's on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, it's on. Is it on Game Pass now? I don't think it is. Maybe
Nope.
it is.
No.
Maybe they announced it
So
was
like
be.
they get PlayStation is launching theirs
Yeah.
with Red Dead Redemption 2 and Cyberpunk. That's huge.
You know what? I'll admit,
I'll be totally
I went
honest,
back.
Cyberpunk is not. I didn't like. It wasn't.
I
It
went
wasn't
back
for
and
me.
played it. I went back and played Cyberpunk after the most recent very large
Same.
patch, and it's actually significantly better. But
It's after the prologue. I said to Pez, I sent him a message. Someone needs to take Johnny and just send that character off into the sun because wow, it ruined the game for me.
Yeah.
It like truly ruined the game for me.
I played through the whole thing when it first came out. I put like 70 hours into it, even
But
through
the whole beginning of it, like,
even
you do
through
all
the
this, like, detective
disastrous
stuff
buggy
and-
mess. And I
so
really I really enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was
to each their own.
It was horribly broken, but I feel like the core game was good. But yeah, I mean, even if they came out and said, listen, 4 to 6 months after these big games come out, you'll be able to play them on the PlayStation Plus Elite tier. I think that would be a huge W because again, the God of Wars and the Horizons of the world, those are some of the most iconic franchise IPs that exist right now. In terms of quality of game, they're unmatched in reality.
Mhm.
So again, all to say, you know what? I'm excited to see what Sony's going to do with it. I really think they have an opportunity to create something cool and special for their platform. And you know what? With more and more consoles being made available, now that we're starting to kind of turn the corner of that. I know with Microsoft, you can find them pretty much anywhere now, for the most part. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I'm hopeful that it is going to be everything that PlayStation users want.
Well said. Do we want to get back into the final review for the or the show, Court?
I have a whole 6 minutes.
You got this.
All right. Well, okay. Here's Pez and I have talked about this game until we're blue in the face. So we're saying that this is the last time we're going to discuss this game unless they like do anything. Pez and I can have our conversations daily, but we're not going to discuss this game anymore.
Baba yelled at us offline, basically. is what
I didn't
happened.
yell at you guys.
He was like, "Shut up! You guys talk about it enough."
I haven't been playing this much of a video game since the Division 2. So for me, as of right now, I can't. It is my game of the year right now. And it's only because I said to myself, from now on, I'm picking the game that I like playing. That's my game of the year. I'm tired of going, well, this one's the most artistic. This is the, you know what? Nope. Psychonauts 2 was my game of the year previously. This is my game of the year right now. I am loving the living daylights out of it. Horizon Forbidden West is number 2, but this is my game of the year right now. And that's it. But I get some of the negatives of the game. I don't play online, and I tried playing it this week, and that was my thing. I said to Pez, I'm going to try playing online. I think their online infrastructure is terrible. It is so bad. It lags. I am connected directly to I had a landline. Like I shouldn't have lag on anything, and it's like the pitch is going like this, and you're hitting it, and like all of a sudden the guy's catching it and you didn't even see him move, and the ball sometimes messing up, and the guy you're playing with presses pause or they quit out of the game so quickly, and they set up a system where you have I'm not playing ranked seasons. I tried battle royale because it's only 3 innings. The ranked seasons, to me, right away, just from what I've read on the reviews of it, the fact that they make you play 9 innings is an absolute travesty and a joke. You think you can play 9 innings with someone online, and if they leave the game, you don't get credit? Like, that is asinine to me, and they need to fix that part. Maybe it's in their back of their infrastructure, but to me, their online play is terrible. Pez, I know, is able to, he's unlocked some cards through the online, but for me, their online play is not good. But everything else about the game, if you're a baseball fan and you're a card collecting fan, and I grew up collecting cards as a kid, I don't see how you don't love this game. Like, seriously.
This is the best baseball game that's been ever made for console, in my opinion, with the one major flaw, and I'm going to expand on Court's point about online play. Because I think the offline modes are great. Yes, I know there is this rising movement in the MLB The Show community that they feel like franchise is being ignored and that there's no path forward for franchise. Again, a lot of the franchise updates this year were under the hood, and for any of us who are civilized individuals, you can't build features. Again, I'll use NHL as an example because I love pandering to WABA every chance I get. You can't add a lot of the things that NHL added, because I think NHL has probably up there with NBA one of the best franchise modes in sports gaming. But you can't add a lot of the sexy things that they added with expansion and all that stuff if the underlying AI sucks. Because then you're just adding broken things that will be broken on top of a broken AI. MLB The Show's offline franchise AI has been broken. Their trade AI is not great. Their roster management AI is not great. They made a lot of big steps to fix that. I expect that if that works and they could get the CPU and the AI performing acceptably, then that's when you can start building things on top. Because if you try to put a new budgetary system on top of broken AI, guess what? It's going to suck. So stop asking for them to add things on top of a broken structure. But that being said, the one thing I absolutely have to recommend that people avoid at all costs is playing games in Diamond Dynasty Online. When the server, and I won't go into the server thing because I actually, when I have played online, the servers have been pretty good. The problem is hitting online is completely broken. You can foul off pitches to your blue in the face. There is absolutely no skill required to hit online. It is completely broken. The PCI, and for those of you who aren't familiar with the game, that's your indicator that kind of gives you your window of where you can make contact with a ball. It's way too big. So people are fouling off pitches 4, 5, 6, 7 feet out of the zone and just waiting for you to make a mistake. And I'm like, hey, that's okay. If I make a mistake in pitching in a baseball game, I expect to be punished for it. But when I bury a slider 4 feet out of the zone and you swing at it, no shot you should be fouling that off. Like, that's a strikeout. Throw it down to first. There's the 2-3 put out, and I'm patting myself on the back because I buried a slider and I got you to swing at it. That's not happening right now. The hitting engine online is completely broken. It needs to be tuned in the worst way possible. And until that happens, I can't recommend you play online. I don't care if the servers work. I will not play online because hitting is that bad. But luckily, again, to end it on a positive, because they're so good with giving you stuff to do offline, mini seasons is a cool addition. Conquest is always fun. There's lots of stuff to do. You can enjoy Diamond Dynasty. I've played 4 games total online since the game has started, and I've loved every minute of playing the game other than those 4 games. So there's lots to do. 2 thumbs up for me. I fully expect MLB The Show will be Sports Game of the Year. I really can't see any game coming close to it.
I'm just going to give a quick few lines. It is, on console, the best simulation type sports game you can play. Period. That's it. If you have ever loved baseball, if you love baseball, if you like baseball, maybe 10 years ago you liked baseball and you just fell off because you think the game's boring, whatever, this will bring you back into it. If you have Game Pass, download it, try it out. Road to the Show is fine. I think I actually enjoy franchise a lot. And I think Diamond Dynasty is probably the best console card collecting game that you can play. So I give it my full endorsement. I have played it online. I grind my 10 wins to get Wade Boggs. I will probably never do it again. I'd rather just pay for him at this point. But there is a carrot on the end of the stick for any type of player that you are. Online, single player, no pay. You want to be a whale, you can be a whale. Like, there is stuff for everybody. Play it, especially, again, you're on Game Pass, doesn't cost you anything. Give it a shot. I think most people will enjoy it because it is baseball. Don't go in thinking you're playing Super Mega Baseball or playing, Backyard Baseball 3 or Super RBI, because it's legit simulation baseball. But it is enjoyable. That's it. That's all. I feel like that's all I need to say.
There you go. Well,
And Waldo's going to play it and let us know.
Yeah, well, I'm sure I will eventually, but not this day.
Okay.
Mainly because I'm playing Horizon, believe it or not.
It's a good game.
So that's gonna wrap up this episode of Three Dads and a Console. We want to thank once again Snaggle Jay. Thank you so much for joining us once again on the program.
Thanks for having me. It was a joy and a pleasure.
If folks want to hang out with you when you're not hanging out with us, where can they find you?
Everywhere on the internet at Snaggle J. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, anywhere you're on the internet, Instagram. If you put in that Snaggle J, you're going to get this face right here. And listen, you know what? It's always a good time. It's a lot of fun. So come check me out in a non-sexual way, please, because my wife would be upset otherwise.
Or you can. We're not your dad, but we are
whatever.
The Console, and you can find us all over. Make sure to rate us on iTunes, Spotify, all that fun stuff. And you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/2dadsandaconsole. You can hang out with us live. We had a bunch of great folks here. WebTrain Gaming, Gamer Graham, all saying hi in chat. That could be you. You could be seeing the hats we're talking about. You could be looking at Pez and saying, Pez, your beard looks great today.
You're
welcome. Make sure to subscribe to us there. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode.
All right, guys. I'm